So if you clicked on this video, you're probably interested in making gold in Wrath of the Lich King Classic, so that is exactly what we are covering today. In this video, I will be talking about 14 different ways you can make a gold in Wrath Classic, divided into two categories, gold farming and gold making. It is worth mentioning that you can get access to even more and better gold making strategies as well as early access to future gold making videos by checking out my WOTLK Classic Gold Guide, which you can find a link to down below. First up, gold farming. Number 1. Herbalism. Simply flying around the world gathering herbs can be a very useful way of farming gold in WOTLK Classic, and is a way of farming gold that goes up and down in value, kind of like in seasons. It was very high when the expansion first came out, then went down a bit due to heavy supply influx from botting, and then went up slightly again with the release of Ulduar, due to the increased demand for herbs in order to make consumables. My personal favorite locations to farm for Herbalism is Sholosar Basin and Storm Peaks. Next up, mining. Flying around looking for mining veins can also be really lucrative, but has gone from being a very good profession to being more of a bonus profession to Herbalism since the launch of Wrath. At the launch, prices of ores and bars were pretty expensive due to it being used in order to skill up the best or the most best installed professions like engineering, jewel crafting and blacksmithing, but now that everyone has skilled up those professions, the demand is somewhat limited. That being said, there will always be a constant demand for ores and gems, and if you have Herbalism, then having mining as your other profession will simply help boost your gold per hour, and I would recommend having both Herbalism and mining on the same character, and use a macro or an add-on that helps you track both at the same time. Next up, skinning. This is a type of gold farm that has actually been going up in value a little bit lately, especially if you're hunting for special types of leather like Nerubian chitin, I hope I said that correctly, maybe it's kitten, for example, but there's even a farm where you can hunt for leather and a valuable battle pet at the same time, namely the Gundrak hatchling. Not the most lucrative way to farm gold in Wrath, but worth knowing about for sure. So, raw gold. In terms of value, this is mostly always going to be the lowest gold per hour type of gold farm, but it doesn't require anyone to buy any materials from you, and it isn't relying on selling items to other people, which means the basic supply versus demand metrics don't apply, and you can literally farm for an hour or two and get raw gold in your pocket, ready to spend on whatever you want to spend it on. Next up, TBC dungeons and TBC farms in general. This is actually a hidden gold mine in Wrath of the Lich King and can sometimes be more profitable than actual Wrath content farms. At a first glance this makes no sense whatsoever, but when you really start thinking about it, it does make sense. A lot of people are skilling up professions, and people are even leveling new characters and new alts where they grab new professions. A lot of times these professions are jewel crafting and alchemy for gold making reasons, and in this case you need to skill up from the beginning. Almost nobody is farming content outside of Northrend right now, which means the supply of old content materials is very low, while there is definitely a demand there for it. For example, if you only have mining, in some cases you'll be better off farming mining in Outland than in Northrend in terms of gold per hour. You can also make a lot of gold by having Herbalism and mining and doing TBC dungeons like Mana Tombs and Setek Halls, which provide a mix of both raw gold and materials. Battle pets, and these are high value items and sort of a luxury market as I like to call it, as only certain people will choose to purchase these items. In some cases you can find battle pets that are easy to obtain and sell for anywhere between 100 gold to 1000 gold, like all of the raptor hatchlings you can find in the world that I'm currently showing on the screen right here, which gives you 4 different locations to loot a raptor, or a raptor nest that contain a raptor hatchling that is selling for a bunch of gold. These pets sell slowly, so don't expect this to be your primary source of gold income, but it is a very good addition to your Wrath gold making if you already have a steady source of income, and personally I usually sell 1 to 2 pets every single week for an average of 300 gold per pet, and I only log in once and check them once per day. So with gold farming covered, it's time to talk about gold making. First up, investments. This is where you put the gold you currently have into items that you think will go up in price in the future. The good thing with Classic is that this is content that has been released before, so we have a pretty good idea of which items will be in higher demand down the line in future content phases, but we also know that Blizzard really likes making changes, so there's always a risk to reward ratio that you need to consider when investing. To highlight this, flame caps were a pretty common and safe investment, which surged from 1 gold each in TBC Classic up to above 100 gold each in Wrath, until Blizzard nerfed them to the ground recently, and they crashed all the way back down again. Duo crafting prospecting. The Serenite Shuffle has been famous for gold making ever since the original Wrath of the Lich King in 2008, and still works to this day. I tested this with a 10,000 gold investment myself, and it's been one of my most consistent and easy go-to gold making methods so far in Wrath Classic. The prices of gems have gone down quite a bit lately, but so has the price of the actual ores, so while you get less gold back per prospecting craft, it also costs you less gold for the ores you need in order to actually prospect. It is also worth noting that prospecting will become even better once you start getting titanium powders from prospecting titanium ore. So, duo crafting, daily quest. This is one of the easiest way to make a lot of gold in Wrath Classic if you ask me, giving you 20 gold flat plus a Dragon's Eye or a currency to buy the Dragon's Eye, which is selling for anywhere between 50 and 100 gold, giving you 70 to 120 gold every single day from a quest that takes you only a couple of minutes. You can even make this process even faster by farming up several quest items in a row, so you just need to hand them in every single day, which is done by going out, farming the quest item objective, combining it into the actual quest item, then farm up a new one and repeat that process. Cooking daily quest. Similar to the duo crafting daily quest, this will give you some very easy gold on a daily basis, but it will give you far less than the duo crafting daily quest. Exactly how much it gives you depends on the price of northern spices on your server, but it's really worth noting that both cooking and duo crafting can be skilled up on the same character, and eventually you can have an alt army to log in and do those daily quests and make over 1000 gold in literally 15 minutes. Regular daily quest. This might not be the most rewarding in terms of the actual gold per hour, but if you have an optimal route, you can actually earn quite a lot of gold by doing this, and it's a raw gold farm, or it's a raw gold, which means it goes directly into your pocket, and you don't have to consider the market value of items and having to find buyers for your materials. Alchemy Transmutes. This is a feature we currently do not have access to, but will become available later in Wrath Classic, and I wanted to mention this super quickly, as you can start setting up an Alchemy Transmuting alt right now to capitalize on these transmuting cooldowns when they become available, and I wanted to mention this now while the prices of herbs are relatively low. Next up, farm honor and emblems to buy gems in a future phase. It is speculated that you will be able to use honor and emblems to buy epic gems in phase 3, as there was an NPC added originally with this patch which allowed this, meaning you can start stocking up on these currencies right now and make a lot of gold with it later down the line. Lastly then, leveling to 80 through dungeons, farming mobs, or even doing battlegrounds, especially during Alterac Valley weekend, then doing all the quests at max level for increased gold rewards. And that's basically it for today's video. I just wanted to talk about a bunch of different ways to make gold in Wrath of the Lich King, to hopefully give you some helpful ideas that help you make some gold. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below how you are making your gold. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you again very soon.